All right. I want you to imagine being 65 years old, broke, and you have to ask your kids for rent money. Just imagine the feeling that you'll have having to do that. The thing is, although many of us we've had some success, made great money, a lot of us are going to find ourselves where we may be in that situation. 65 years old, we have a little bit of money saved, but not enough for us to maintain our standard of living. So, what are we going to do? Throughout our lifetimes, we made the sacrifices. We went to school, got the good job, have the good income, but then life hits us, right? We have to take care of our children, and we do the best for our children. Send them to the best school that we can afford and that they can qualify to get into. And then what happens, our parents start to age. And of course, we have to take care of our parents as well. So we're caught right there in that middle. I just turned 45 years old, and it just has me think about what are we going to do when we're caught in this sandwich generation? Right now, everything's getting so expensive. Housing prices are up, interest rates are up. As a result, credit card interest rates are up. The price of everything is just getting more and more expensive, which leaves us not too much money to save. Now, here's the great thing that I'm going to provide for you this evening. First of all, you do not have to save $1 million to be able to have a comfortable retirement. So that's the first thing that I'm going to address. Because when you think about retirement planning, a lot of us, we may make anywhere between 100,000, 250,000 a year. So that means we need to save between 2.5 to 6.25 million in our retirement accounts. But how close are we to that number? Everything's based off compound interest. It needs to take time. Well, you know what? I want to let you know it's not too late for you to have a second chance at early retirement. And what we need to do is we need to kind of shift the paradigm. The way that we shift the paradigm is instead of relying on accumulated assets, which means we're going to be saving, living below our means, having our money grow for us, we're going to focus on cash flow. We're going to focus on money that comes in, month out, month in, month out, because that's a more strategic way to be able to reach our financial goals. And lucky for you, you've been following me, I have the perfect vehicle. In my mind, this is probably the simplest way for anyone to be able to create financial independence for themselves. Here's the best part. It doesn't matter where you're starting off at. Some of us, we have a good amount of money. Some of us, we don't. And another great thing about what I'm going to share with you, this is a recession-proof business model. So no matter what's going on in the economy, whether we're having an up economy, down economy, is volatile or stagnant, this is going to be a business model that's high in demand. Here's another thing. It don't matter if Trump's in office, or Obama's in office, or whoever's going to be the next president. This is still going to be in high demand. And basically what I'm speaking about is providing safe, clean, affordable housing. And here's the best part. You don't even need to own a house to be able to do this. As a matter of fact, to accelerate the amount of cash flow you receive on a monthly basis, it's actually better if you don't own a house. And I will prove my point with mathematics. So the strategy that I'm talking about is shared living investing. And it goes by many names. Some people call it co-living, some people call it group home, some people call it house hacking, some people call it room rents, whatever you want to say. When I took a hard look at this, what I discovered was that you're able to develop multi-family income from a single family house. Just think about how powerful that is, because there is this huge wave of everyone saying you need to own some multi-family. How difficult is it to own multi-family real estate? Let's just be real. You're talking about raising millions and millions and millions of dollars. You have very sophisticated competition. And then a lot of the values of multifamily are based off interest rates. In a low interest rate environment, yes, it was a great investment because of the cap rates. But as interest rates started to go up, what happened is cap rates started to shrink. Cap rate is basically the level of return that you're able to receive per unit of risk. Here's another thing about multifamily. When your money's caught up in there, it's not that liquid. It can become very illiquid. And then the valuations go down. You can't even refinance out of your position. So is that a position of strength or weakness? Now, if you have millions and millions of dollars, you're really trying to lessen your tax burden, multifamily commercial real estate are great places to put your money. You know, you get the accelerated depreciation and all that. I don't really want to talk over anyone's head this evening. But for you and I, for anyone, despite where they are financially, I have a way to where they can receive real cash flow. And let's throw some numbers out here, okay? I don't know where y'all are in the country. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. The median house in Atlanta, Georgia, it's getting up there. It's creeping around $500,000. It's more like 460 some $1,000 from the last time that I saw. Okay. So let's just hypothetically say that we have identified a house as $300,000, which is a great deal, especially in this marketplace. $300,000. It's going to be an investment property for us because we all know if you own property long term, is a way to get rich. We all know that, right? Well, if you're going to be getting this financed through a lender, they're going to require what? 20% down, 20% of $360,000. You need to have a pretty decent credit score. And then you need to have, stable income, be able to pay for it in case you're not able to rent it out because you may be personally liable for it, depending on what your background is. Okay. Now, with this house, especially in this high interest rate environment, more than likely your mortgage is going to be somewhere around 7+ percent because it's an investment property. With that being said, you are lucky. You are lucky if you cash flow $200 to $300 every single month. Now, I want you to think about your financial situation. What is $200 or $300 really going to do for you financially? You can pay down a little bit of debt, maybe accelerate the payoff of a credit card, instead of it taking 18 months, maybe 13 months. That can happen. Maybe knock out a bill, maybe your electricity or whatever. But is that really going to make a significant impact in your financial life? Now, when we go to my strategy, instead of 300, 200 a month, now you're looking at $1,500 a month. Now we're talking. What can $1,500 a month do for you? That can really knock out some debt. That can really allow you to save more money in your retirement to accelerate the amount of money that you're able to put away for retirement, right? And then let's just do kind of some math on that. $1,500 per month net cash flow times 12 months is $18,000 a year. So you've put up 60,000 and your ROI is 30%. 30% in any type of market is absolutely wonderful. Now, let me share with you why I would not recommend someone buy that house unless you're going to get instant equity in a substantial amount. Now you are going to have a little bit of equity position because you're going to put 60,000 down, so that means your mortgage is going to be 240. But I'm talking about a significant amount. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're not going to be able to do that, I would not recommend that. That's just me personally. And let me share with you why. Because that same $60,000, you can control 8 houses with $60,000. Let's just do some math and bring out your calculator if you don't believe me. 8 houses at $1,500 a piece is $12,000 a month cash flow. That's $144,000 in 1 year. I want to ask you, what could you do with $12,000 of monthly cash flow? For some of you, you're able to leave where you work at. Some of you, you can really annihilate some of your debt like that. And then some of you, imagine how much money you're able to save. Not only that, it will allow you to be more aggressive with your investments as well. Maybe there's something, a business that you're gonna need a substantial amount of money for, and now you have the cash to collateralize that so you can qualify for financing so you can invest into that business or that investment opportunity that you have. So that's the power of this business model. And the best part about it, it's not going anywhere and it's in high demand. Okay. And there are various types of business models within this business model. Of course, you have affordable housing, you have the at-risk population, you have working individuals, you have our elderly or senior adults. We also have where you can do upper middle class. There's individuals who may not be able to qualify to stay in a nice house, but they would still like to stay in a nice house. There's definitely a market for that. You have just so many different types of markets that you're able to serve, and you have to put your thinking cap on. And that's one of the things that I really love about this business model is that there's so many different directions that we can go in. So one of the things that I wanted to present to some of you, because I know some of you have been following me for a while, is exactly, okay, what are the steps that I need to put in place to ensure that I'm going to have success with this business model? And all of that falls within my 4F framework. Okay. The first F that most people do is find a property. Okay. Now, once you do that, fund the acquisition of it, then furnish it, then fill it up. That's the 4F framework right there. And by being proficient in this, you can start to create your systems and processes to where you're able to delegate a lot of the responsibility to other individuals. And now, actually, with AI can do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of the operation side as well. And that's one of the things that I'm really excited about. I've been creating a lot of different AI agents to take the place of all the day-to-day that needs to be done on a consistent basis. Takes care of our marketing, takes care of our screening, takes care of any type of if any reports come in. There's so many things that can be done with this, with AI. What I've been doing right now is my birthday was actually on Monday. So I do actually have a training program to where I will help you go from A to Z in this business model. And what my goal is for you to be able to get your first house within 60 to 90 days. Your first house, not just get your first house, I'm sorry, get your first house, have it furnished, have it filled up, have it cash flowing. That's the goal. And then after that, you just repeat the process. Just repeat the process. Because it won't take you long to be able to hit $10,000 a month. Okay. Oh, thank you, Ayana. Thank you very much. It really doesn't take you long. I mean, if you're receiving 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 a month off a house, how long does it take to hit 10,000? And for a lot of people, $10,000 of monthly income is really all they need. Even if it's 20,000, even if it takes you 2 years, that's 24 months. That's a good amount of money to be able to live off of. Now, I will tell you this, it is not 100% passive. So I don't want to mislead anyone. I call it active passive. So basically in the beginning, you will be involved. I would say about 10 hours a week. But then as you put your processes and systems and your team in place, that's going to reduce down to 5 hours a week, then to 5 hours a month. If you can spend about 5 hours a month monitoring your business, that will create a six-figure business for you. The key thing is just getting started and then really being consistent with this business. This business has truly been a blessing. It's something that, like I said, no matter where you are, you can start this business. I will tell you this. There's pros and cons of whether you're in a large metropolitan area or you're more so like in a rural area. I will say it is faster and easier in a metro area. Okay. Now, if you're in a rural area, it may take you longer. However, you can straight up dominate that market. You can dominate that market. You're not going to have too much competition. And once word of mouth comes out that you're providing safe, clean, affordable housing, everyone is just going to run to you. And let me give y'all some little tips, hacks, and everything of how you can really make a substantial amount of money, even more than what the marketplace may be charging. So, one of the things that I like to do is, what do you say to a private landlord for doing this business? Okay, great question. So, what I generally do is, I want to talk in terms of things that they are interested in. Okay. So, let's put our thinking caps on. Okay. If we are a landlord, what are our main concerns? Okay. There's really two main concerns. Am I going to get my money? And are you going to tear my place up? That's really the two largest concerns that they have. Okay. So now we know what their concerns are. Let's think about, why in the world are they a landlord in the first place? For a lot of people, the reason why they are a landlord is for that passive income, for tax benefits, for the pay down of the mortgage, for the value of the house going up. Okay. So what I talk to them about is the things that they're interested in doing. I say, you know what, Mr. or Mrs. Landlord, what I like to do is, I like to partner with landlords to help them make more money off of their rental property instead of renting it out to just a single family. The best part is I'm going to guarantee all the payments, and I'm going to make sure that I take care of all the repairs and maintenance for anything that's not under warranty. Is this worth you and I maybe having a 15-minute conversation to discuss? And that's basically, the type of things that I say to them. And then what I'll do is, I'll start asking them some questions instead of just going right in. I'm gonna rent out the rooms. I'm gonna be bringing in homeless people. I'm gonna be getting people from mental health. They don't want to hear that. Uh-uh. So what I do instead is, I'll start probing them and ask them questions about, Mr. or Mrs. Landlord, how long have you had this property? And is this property, part of your retirement plan? Is that why you're holding on to it? I just have a question. It's just a wild shot. Now, let me ask you a question. Um, if I was able to offer you full price, would you be interested in, maybe selling it at some time down the road? Is that something that may work for you? So what I'm doing now is I'm kind of just weaving in, seeing if they may be open to some seller financing or at least with an option to buy. Because long term, we do want to actually hold on to some of these assets and everything. We just want to make sure we're receiving a substantial amount of cash flow, in the meantime. So that's the big thing that I look for. But I would like to know if they are open to selling house, because I got some really neat strategies that we can use to even get the price down when we actually execute in terms of buying the house or whatever. But no, that's a great question. And the key thing is, right now, especially what's going on in the marketplace. I don't know if y'all been following the market from the rental perspective. Is that actually rental rates? Believe it or not, some of them are starting to come down a little bit. So this is an excellent time to get involved with this business model. You know, Another thing is, you're going to find certain type of landlords that are just horrible property managers. They really don't want to be a property manager. And quite frankly, most property management companies suck at what they do. So as a result, you've been able to take that burden off them. It's a huge benefit for them as well. So these are some of the reasons why a landlord may be interested in allowing you to do this business. And the most important thing is, you just got to speak with confidence. You just got to let them know that you will take care of their house. You will make sure things are in a pristine condition, and then I will weave in what I'm doing though, because you don't want to blindside anyone. Because the worst thing that you want to have happen is that in your agreement that the landlord sends you over in the contract that you sign, it says no sublease, and then they come back to you sublease. And now you have to terminate your agreement. That's something that you don't want. So what I say is it's best on the front end, let them know what you're doing. Let them know what you're doing. Either they win or they're not. It is what it is. You can't force anyone to do anything that they don't want to do. But I'm telling you, all of you are probably in areas or near areas where there's thousands and thousands and millions of houses. You only need one to get started. You only need one. So just focus on that one. Now, if you want to know the easiest way to find people who allow you to do this, they're going to be other real estate investors. Real estate investors are the easiest people. The only thing you gotta worry about them, sometimes they be counting your money. Well, if you're making all this money, for this house is $2,000, I could surely charge you $3,000 or $2,800. Nah, it don't work like that. Because now that's really, digging into your pockets and everything. Or you're gonna find someone and say, well, you know what, I can just do this myself. The way you overcome that objection, yeah, you most definitely can do it yourself, but do you want to? Do you want to have to screen all the residents? Do you want to have to make sure that you're collecting all the rent from all the different residents? Do you want to have to try to get rid of these residents when not paying all the rent and everything? Do you know how to do all the due diligence for these residents? You just ask questions. Yes, they can do that, but do you want to do that? Is that the reason why you became an investor? To be that hands-on? Some are. Find the ones that aren't. I'm going to tell you another group of people right now that's coming on strong. These tired, frustrated Airbnb operators. Have you seen what's going on with Airbnb right now? One, the platform is getting so strict, in particular, if you're not a super host, they're going to kick you off that platform soon. Another thing is there's so much volatility in terms of the income that they're receiving. Some of them are sick of riding that roller coaster of 8,000 one month, 2,000 next month, 8,000 next month, 3,000 next month. Because what happened is after the pandemic, when prices were real high, and once people start traveling again, they're like, you know what? People were overpaying for these Airbnbs in this high interest rate environment. And they were forced to do a short-term rental in order for the cash flow. But what's happening right now? And then not only that, in a lot of places, legislation is coming in, which is totally changing and even outlawing Airbnb in certain places. So what are they going to do now to be able to cash flow? That's where you can come in. You can come in and say, look, I'm going to give you a set amount every single month. You can count on this month in, month out, month in, month out. And the best part is I'm going to be personally responsible for everything. Is that something you're interested in having a conversation about, Mr. and Mrs. Landlord? And that's how I go about, having my conversations with everyone. But I didn't want this to be too long. I know it's kind of late at night. I tell you what, look, I got something special that I'm doing. I just turned 45 years old. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a birthday blowout right now, okay? So for my coaching program, now this is not going to be the full coaching program and everything. I have an accelerator. I'm down to 8 people. And I had 10 spots, but now I'm down to 8 people, okay? Now for this accelerator, we are going to be working. So let me tell you how this program is. This is for action-oriented individuals. It's not anything where you just sit back, listen to some videos, and feel real good about yourself. No. I'm going to be actually giving out assignments. Oh, okay. Happy birthday, Fabiano. Okay. Okay. Yes, say happy birthday, Leo. Leo in the house. Okay. Yeah, I turned 45. But with my program, like I said, it's all about taking action. We're going to do a group Zoom. I'm going to give you the instruction. I'm going to answer all questions. And then I'm going to give everyone a homework assignment. Okay. By going through this program, you will have your first house within 45, 60 days. You will. And it will be cash flowing if you follow all the directions properly and everything. Okay. And that's what everything's going to be measured by. We really want to get you step out of your comfort zone so you can start doing revenue generating activities. And that's the only way you're going to have success. So if you're interested in that in me, you can send me a message and then I'll send you a calendar link because I want to just have a one-on-one private conversation just to make sure, we're a good fit for each other. And then I have, special pricing. It's only till Friday now. So this is something that you're interested in, let me know, and then we can have a conversation about this. But the main thing that I want to say is no matter what it is that you decide to do, it's not too late for you to have a second chance at early retirement. I'll see y'all later.